Welcome back again to Suripki channel. Today we are going to discuss about the properties of matter in science. And the goals of these subjects, we discuss about to separate physical from chemical properties and changes. And we discuss one by one. And when we discuss about the properties of matter here, the properties of matter here can be classified by two here. Like all matter has physical and chemical properties. You are able to mention like physical properties and chemical properties. But the physical properties can be extensive or intensive. Extensive properties and extensive properties. What is the physical properties? Physical properties means that the characteristic that scientists can measure without changing the compositions of the sample under study, such as mass, color, and volume, the amount of space occupied by a sample. But the chemical properties indicate that the describing the characteristic abilities of a substance to react to form new substance. They include its flammability and susceptibility to corrosion. However, when we discuss about the extensive properties here, like vary with the amount of the substance and include mass, weight, and volume. For the intensive properties here, we classify like in contrast, do not depend on the amount of the substance. They include color, melting point, boiling point, electrical conductivity, and physical state at the given temperature. And you are able to take a look at some pictures below here, like extensive and intensive, how we classify, how we differentiate between the extensive properties and intensive properties. The differences between extensive and intensive properties of matter, because they differ in size, the two samples of the sulfur have a different extensive properties, such as mass and volume. In contrast, their intensive properties, including color, melting point, electrical conductivity, are identical. And when you want to find the density, like although mass and volume are both extensive properties, the ratio is an important intensive property called density. Density is defined as a mass per unit volume and is usually expressed in grams per cubic centimeters gram cubic. As mass increases in a given volume, density also increases. For example, lead with its greater mass has a far greater density than the same volume of air. Just a brick has a greater density than the same volume of styrofoam. At a given temperature and pressure, the density of a pure substance is a constant. And you are able to here take a look at like density of a common substance, like there is blood, body fat, and whole milk. And please take a look at about the substance here, and then you try to find out the density here. It is a different, right? And pure water, for example, take a look at in the picture here, has a density of 0.998 grams centimeter cubic at 25 degrees Celsius. The average density of some common substance are in the table. Notice that the corn oil has a lower mass to volume ratio than water. This means that when added to water, corn oil will float. And water and oil, since the oil has a lower density than water, it floats on top. It cannot be mixed. And physical property and change. For physical property and change are the changes in which no chemical bonds are broken or formed. This means that the same types of the compounds or elements that were there at the beginning of the change are there at the end of the change. Because the ending materials are the same as the beginning materials, the properties such as color, boiling point, and etc. will also be the same. Physical changes involve moving molecules around, but not changing them. And then you are able to describe about the types of the physical changes. The physical changes like the changes of state, change from a solid to liquid or gas and vice versa. Or separations of a mixture, mixing or sparing. Physical deformations, cutting, denting or stretching. Or making solutions, special kinds of the mixture. And physical changes, it is like the verse like melting is an example of the physical change, since some properties of the material change but the identity of the matter does not. Physical changes can further be classified as reversible or irreversible. That melted ice cube may be refrozen, so melting is a reversibility physical change. Physical changes that involve a change of state are all reversible. Second is other changes of the state include vaporizations. It is like a liquid to gas. Or the physical changes like freezing, liquid to solid. And the last is like condensation, is like a gas to liquid. And it is the different like dissolving, it is one of the physical changes also, but dissolving is also a reversible physical change. When salt is dissolved into water, the salt is said to have entered the aqueous state. The salt may be regained by boiling of the water, leaving the salt behind. And chemical properties and change. Chemical changes occur when bonds are broken and or formed between molecules or atoms. This means that one substance with a certain set of properties such as melting point, color, taste, and etc. is turned into a different substance with different properties. Chemical changes are frequently harder to reverse than physical changes. And one good example of the chemical change is burning paper. In contrast to the act of repaying paper, the act of burning paper actually results in the formation of new chemicals, carbon dioxide and water to be added. And another example of chemical change occurs when water is formed. Each molecule contains 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen chemical bonded. And then you are able to find this all our material in the Petrucci. I took from the Petrucci, Bison, Herring, Madura, General Chemistry, and Craig-Colin Peters, Basic of Inductory Chemistry. Okay, today we discuss about the properties matter, about the physical and chemical properties. I think this is enough. When you have a questions, please give the questions in the comment. And I think that's all. If it is good for you, please share and don't forget to subscribe. See you for the next lesson.